From the creators who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing, this is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wow Report on Radio Andy. We count down the top 10 things that make us go wow. It's our first topical show of the 2020s.
And we're back together again. It's been a while.
Yes.
It has.
Vacation and things of that nature.
Yes.
John Campbell, where
Yes.
did you go?
I went to New Hampshire to see my brother, sister, and my nephew Brady.
James St. James?
I spent it wallowing in Days of Our Lives.
So it really wasn't much of a vacation for you now, was it?
Blake?
Oh, I went home to Arkansas and snuggled baby.
Oh.
Good
I
daddy.
went to
Good uncle.
Hawaii. I went to
Hawaii.
Maui.
Yes, how
It
was
that
it?
was lovely. It was
Yeah?
lovely. It was idyllic, except to Christmas Day. There was a big storm, but that was lovely too.
Based on Instagram postings, Fenton wins for vacation.
Right, but
I
if
think
you
so.
can't make Hawaii look great on Instagram, you have a problem. I have to say, actually, we did do the thing that you always do in Maui. You're supposed to do is you go up to the mouth of the volcano, the lip of the volcano, to see the dawn, and it was everything it's sold
Is it
as.
scary? Did you want to push someone in?
It's completely dark up this very bendy U-turn road.
You went before the sun come up.
Yes, you have to leave the hotel at like 3,
Is
4
there lava
a.m.
spewing all over your children?
No, it's dormant. It's extinct.
Oh.
Dormant. And you get there, and suddenly it's enormously crowded. Like people have been waiting there all night, and it was really super crowded. I had to put Elliot on my shoulders.
Now, did you go ziplining?
No.
Did you go surfing?
No.
Did you? They don't have anything that can kill you on Hawaii. There are no spiders or snakes
There's
or alligators.
waterfalls you can jump off of. It's quite hazardous.
Oh, okay,
People,
okay.
Yes. So, but I was, and the road to Hana is very dangerous too. And you see cars that are plunged off the edge of the precipice.
I say wherever there's an electric toaster in a bathtub, harm can happen.
Hey, was it?
Well, you're so right.
Wait, very quickly before we start, I did want to just say congratulations to Chloe Sevigny, Wow Celebrity Party Monster. Chloe Sevigny, pregnant.
Her first baby.
Her first baby, 45 years old, with her boyfriend who is Sinisia Marakovic or something like that. Martovic.
Easy for you to say.
He's an artist.
Well, that baby is going to be a beauty.
And have a lot of fabulous outfits.
Right? Let's count down. Top 10 things that made us go wow this week, the first week of the 2020s. Tom, number 10.
Number 10.
What kicked off the week for me was the Golden Globe Awards.
Of course.
And I know it's a little bit in the rearview mirror, but it's a weird thing because, Ricki Gervais, who's very irreverent and has hosted them in the past and is kind of known and loved for his irreverent behavior, he went in deep on that crowd. And he's getting a lot of, he was busting everyone for we don't want to hear what actors have to say. Don't be political.
Right.
That backfired on him a little bit.
So, but some of it was like, something was like the Apple Roared the TV game with the morning show, a superb drama about the importance of dignity and doing the right thing, made by a company that runs sweatshops in China. So he was making big wide swings at corporates.
I thought the Jeffrey Epstein joke landed. I thought that was hysterical.
Yes.
And I also thought that the Prince Andrew and Leonardo DiCaprio jokes were funny.
But then I thought he went one level too far, and he's free to say whatever he wants. I'm not putting him down. But the idea of that Hollywood's this woke beyond help, and that no one should be talking about what's going on, even though we were and are on the brink of war. That was breaking news at the time.
Yes.
It's slightly. It's political of him to say you shouldn't be political in any way.
Is it
during a
political?
live award show?
Is it political or is it merely cynical and exploitive, knowing that your only role as a host is to get the show talked about? And that was the one thing that was going to get the show talked about. So it was merely performative spew, which in a way is like Trump. That's performative spew.
listen,
Well, that's why it feels in the realm of politics to me.
No, but the thing is, the Trump people are loving it on Twitter. They love it. And the thing is, they always say, entertainers shouldn't be political, and yet they voted for a reality
TV
host.
star.
The idea that the entertainers can't be political is absolute.
And the
twaddle.
entertainers aren't incredibly moved day in and day out and activated.
And if they don't have opinions, who should have? Isn't the whole idea of
It's a
America that
democracy.
everyone should have
if
opinions?
Joe Beer Can have his Wi-Fi thing, then Michelle Williams
Ricki said his whole thing was that his role was to be the ordinary person who wasn't invited. I don't know if that is your role, actually. I think you're wrong.
But the idea that Ricky Gervais isn't an A-list superstar who is going
course she
to
is.
front row at fashion shows and going to A-list and hanging out with models.
Her and the town she rode in on.
Don't pretend like you are an everyman when you are not.
No, that's perfect. I just got a news break, which we'll talk about later.
Breaking news.
No, I don't want to talk about it. So Michelle Williams, however, still some celebrities get off great speeches, elegant speeches. Michelle Williams talked about choice. As a pregnant woman saying it's not just about whether to have children or not have children, it's about having children with the right people at the right time. Joaquin Phoenix, who's a crazy guy, talked about global warming and plant-based and said, which I sometimes think too, it's like, do we really have to take private jets to the Palm Springs Film Festival from Los Angeles?
And we looked right at Leonardo, who does that every single time.
Patricia Arquette, who's always very outspoken,
eloquent, yes.
and she had these glasses that made me think of like a Barbara Stanwyck in some noir movie. I don't know, like
there was something schoolmasterly about it.
Yes.
Schoolmistress.
It's not Sarah Wrong. It's what's the evil one?
It's Double Indemnity.
Yeah,
or something,
it's very,
right?
where she's in the grocery store.
Yes.
Yeah.
You might know that. And then last, but certainly not least, because I could spend 10 minutes talking about how good Brad Pitt looks.
Oh,
which I know is not an
so
original
good.
observation, but he is so good looking. It's captivating. It takes over your brain, your mind, your blood vessels.
And he's so lovable now.
Yes.
Like this whole narrative that Angelina put out there about how he's this violent, psychopathic drug addict who beats his
which I
kids.
love in
but
a guy.
I don't believe any of it. I
Right.
think that he really is a sweet, good-natured man. I love him.
Leonardo, comparing Leonardo and Brad, who are two of the most gorgeous men,
Yeah.
I think Brad wins, right?
Oh, definitely.
Brad
Yeah.
beats every man alive.
Leonardo has more screen clout at this point. He
Yes.
can open movies, and he still, I think he picks better pictures, and he's, you know.
But Brad in Plan B has made so many fabulous movies.
That's
He's been
true.
like
so behind the scenes, Brad is taking over.
But I will end my segment the way that Brad Pitt ended his acceptance speech by saying, hey, if you see a chance to be kind to someone tomorrow, take it. I think we need that. And if that's political, so be it.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
I would hope not.
And now, moving on to number 9.
James St. James, number 9.
Number 9.
Number 9, I spent most of my last weekend watching you. And you out there in the dark. The Netflix show You, which we spoke about last time, a couple months ago, and it's Penn Badgley, who is on Gossip Girl, and he plays a violent, misogynistic, psychopathic stalker. And it's told from his point of view, and most of it is from his point of view, and he's narrating, and he's saying, you should have loved me, and you should have been, and then I'm going to break into your house, and I'm going to steal your panties, and I'm going to, and the whole thing is like about you. And the first season, he was in New York, and
You is her.
You is her. Is a
Right.
girl named Bex who's just awful. You just hate her, and he's beating. There's all these trustafarians that you just hate, and there's Instagram, influencers that you just hate. And every time he kills someone or he beats someone or he locks them in cages, you're sort of like on his
So is this
side.
the new Dexter?
Well,
Or he's Dirty Harry. He's cleaning up the social influencers.
Well, it's very upsetting because he's clearly a monster and he's clearly a horrible person, and yet somehow you're like supposed to find an inroad into liking him. In the second season, he moves to LA, and so we make fun of all the LA tropes, and he works at like a Whole Foods, and everybody there has a 5-picture deal, all the bag boys, and everybody's working on a script, and everybody takes pictures of their avocado toast and gets 100,000. And like he ends up killing all these LA people, and he goes to all these parties and like beats, he did, and you end up like, you're like, yes, everybody in LA deserves to die. And it's so conflicting, but it's also that Trumpian era, good is bad, bad is good, like what is right, what is wrong.
And it's rage, isn't it? It's just the epidemic of rage.
But who do we like and who do we dislike, and who, we're supposed to like Russia and North Korea and hate Canada and France now? I mean, like what up is down and down is up, and it is sort of like just very telling that a show like this
I wonder what Brad Pitt would think of this.
I think Brad would say, If you find a chance to be kind to someone tomorrow, take it.
But I do think I do suggest people check out this show because
Had you watched both seasons?
I have, and the second season is 100% better than the first season.
Oh, wow.
And the first season is it's compelling and it's crazy and it's insane.
Got a great opening.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
As this a somewhat lazy person who only has so long to live, as we all do, can I just start watching the second season then?
Yeah, you can, because all you need to know, basically. Well,
Michelle Visage told me to start with the first season.
All right.
Yeah, no, but he really is fantastic. He's a great actor, and it's just so compelling and creepy and scary.
Ready for my
and,
morals to be further.
Well, that's just it. And you're a
threatened.
good person. I know you're a good person, and maybe by the end we'll get a little nastiness out of you. You'll come in a changed person with that wicked laugh. Yes.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Well, I should just say You started on Lifetime, but it's now on Netflix. Currently streaming
that's
on
true.
Netflix.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Number 8, The American People. It's a book.
Oh.
It's by Larry Kramer.
Oh.
It's 775 pages long.
And you are on page 3?
I'm on page 350.
Wow.
You're almost
I'm read. So Larry Kramer wrote a book in 1978 called Faggots, which someone gave me before I came to America, first time in my life, before I moved to America. That was the first time I came to America, was when I moved here. Yep. I read Faggots, and I was like, oh my God. I was so terrified. The famous line, we're fucking ourselves to death. It was about the gay community.
Pre-AIDS.
In the West Village in the 70s, pre-AIDS, and was condemned at the time, but proved to be a prescient manuscript.
Well,
about
that and Dancer from the
Right.
Dance are both of them are really interesting, seminal works of gay fiction.
And Larry Kramer, of course, was one of the founders of ACT UP,
Yes.
AIDS Coalition
and
to
of
Unleash
course
Power,
the Normal Heart.
author of The Normal Heart. So he's a legend.
Yeah.
And he started writing this work. It is a history of the American people through a gay lens. And as you read it, you are like, oh my God. It's like, because we've all heard about people who are gay in history, but what's interesting is that narrative is normally a revelation after years of being covered up. You learn that so-and-so was gay. Maybe their widow burned all their letters.
Right.
You know, it somehow ekes out and always stands alone as an isolated story.
Is
And
Abraham
in this,
Lincoln gay?
He's got Abraham Lincoln's gay, George Washington is gay,
Oh!
Alexander Hamilton is gay. Alexander Hamilton, it seems, was actually gay. And he's, I think, like 5 presidents are gay. I mean, gay. It's history through the lens
So
of
Pete
gayness.
Buttigieg is not going to break
the first
down
by any
yes.
means.
Openly gay president.
But the theme of the American people is, one, how since the beginning of America, gayness has been rooted out, stomped out, and has blossomed in places only to be destroyed and hunted down. And his other thesis, controversial thesis, is that AIDS has always been in America, lying in wait, lurking. And he begins, I have never read anything as visceral or, I was going to say disgusting, but that sounds like a judgment, Rabelaisian, and completely freaked me out. Like, I was like, I don't know if I can keep reading this, which was a bit like Memory Pain or Flashback to Faggots when I first learned about felching. But this is so graphic about monkeys fucking.
Right.
And it is
And
monkey
fucking monkeys,
on
isn't that one of the things?
Yes,
Yeah.
but that's how it begins. And that's how his thesis of where AIDS essentially comes from. It's this, he calls it the underlying condition. Has been in monkeys from the beginning. Monkeys pass it to each other. Monkeys have group sex. Lots of monkey-on-monkey action. Lots of homosexuality. Cannibalism as well, James. You should check it out.
Wait, is it from eating monkeys' brains?
They fuck each other.
No,
they
no.
then
How
eat
did
each other.
how did it
They-
transmit to us from the monkeys?
Yes. Well, I haven't got there yet. I'm only on page 375.
No,
and
but-
it's like, but yes.
Okay, but the thing that we always hear about Larry is that
Yeah.
he's getting into his old age. He's becoming more and more cantankerous, and he's getting harder and harder to follow. And he's sort of a bit.
Which
of a,
I love that in a person, by
Well,
the way.
he's a little problematic.
Aspire
It's
to
not-
that.
That's why you love
Stylistically,
James.
It is a sort of it is continually combusting, perpetually incandescent, and you don't actually know what's truth and what's fiction. And he's given all these characters, like Yale, which he hates. He's called Yada University, and he says the founder of Yale was gay, and you're like. That line between fact and fiction is so interesting because it was going to be a historical book, but it's actually published as a novel.
Oh.
And it's really
Well,
James, you've got to read it.
But
I
is
think
it just a lot of axe grinding? Is it a lot of like? Does he have like just he's out vendettas out to get people?
it's volcanic. It's eruptive. It's got so much energy and visceral force in it. Yes, there's a lot of score settling, yes, it's a lot of rage. But I think it's actually really quite readable and has been sort of. Maybe it's just hard these days to publish a book that's 800 pages long because
who has the
notwithstanding that's number volume 1, volume 2 has just been published this week, in fact, and is even longer. It's 880 pages.
Just say it's a binge-worthy book, and suddenly people can understand it.
But
It's
we're all
binge-worthy book.
it's the Twitter age, and nobody reads more than 142 words.
Yes,
characters
but
a time.
if you can judge that binge 13 Hours of the Crown, you can read this book. And also what I do now is I read the book on Kindle, because who wants to hold an 800-page book? But then I also, in my car, have the Audible version, so I'm like switching between reading and
that's good.
listening. Yeah. Anyway,
Because you used to read in the car and listen in bed, and we talked about it.
And poor Elliot has to listen to Larry Kramer.
Have a good day at kindergarten, darling.
Here's the monkey fucking. To send you off to work.
I
Send you
cannot-
off to school.
I have to be alone in my car when listening to this. So that's Larry Kramer's great opus, and I'm so grateful to him that he is alive, because he's been in very poor health for many years, and that he is alive to have written this stupendously
still creating,
important
sure.
1,700-page work. I'm really, really. Oh, and I spoke to him on the phone the other day too.
You
Just
did?
drop it. Just moving on. We have to take a
Well,
break.
that afterwards, for you YouTube watchers, we'll get a little special.
Yeah. Okay, Blake. Question.
Yeah, gonna throw it back to Tom's Golden Globes. Ricki Gervais, he's hosted the Golden Globes a total of 5 times since 2010. And before 2010, only 1 year had co-hosts. No other year since the inception in 1944 until 2010, besides this 1 year, they had co-hosts at the Golden Globes.
I think I know who.
What year? Who was it?
All right, you're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy. We'll be right back after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Hello and welcome back to the Wow Report on Radio Andy. I just want to let you know that RuPaul's Drag Race Live opens at the Flamingo in Las Vegas. Just 20 days away. Get your tickets at RuPaul'sDragRaceLive.com.
It's a residency January 30th. It premieres. It goes through August 1st, maybe
It's
longer.
my birthday.
Is it? Well, you'll come for your birthday and everything else. But it's a live stage show at the old Donnie Marie Theater, and it's really exciting.
That is so amazing to take over from Donnie
I
and
know.
Marie, their legendary show.
We love them.
Yeah. All right, Tom, number...
No.
Prior to the break, Blake asked us a question. What was that question, Blake?
Yeah, Ricki
You know, if I
Gervais.
was being paid, I'd be fired. Unfortunately, I'm not.
Ricki Gervais, he hosted the Golden Globes for the 5th time this year, and he's hosted it 5 times since 2010. Before 2010, no one had hosted the Golden Globes except for 1 year. There were 2 hosts.
Co-hosted.
Uh-huh.
It's Tina Fey and Amy Poehler,
No.
and it's 2009.
I'm saying.
Go, you do it.
Weren't they the Oscars?
Do your thing.
Okay, because I was going to say it was that year that it was Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin, but was that the Oscars?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I was going to say James Franco and Anne Hathaway, but that
that
was
was
the
the
Oscars.
It was 1994, and it was John Larroquette and Janine Turner.
What? Now, who would have ever? I do love me some Janine Turner.
I wish those two would go do love letters or
I
something.
hate John Larroquette, though. Despise that man. One of the most hated people on the planet.
I didn't know you
Do
knew him so
something.
well.
Oh, goodness, I have stories about John Larroquette.
Okay,
Don't
so
start me about Night Court. Not now.
we
Not here.
are counting down.
Post.
I remember like I was at the Limelight.
the
He
top
was there.
10 things that make us go wow, and we've reached number 7. Tom,
Number 7.
Since we've been together,
we've aged.
Ricki Lake, talk show
Today.
pioneer and superstar and documentary filmmaker now, Ricki Lake, has come out as someone who's experiencing, a woman who's experienced throughout her life, and especially in recent years, hair loss. And she basically took out the extensions, she, gave herself not a buzz cut, but a really short cut. It's patchy, she's got a high hairline, and she's just embracing it. And I don't know why. Obviously, I'm bald and I'm a man. There's a whole thing about that we'll
Yeah, but
talk
you have
about.
hair.
I have a little bit there. But how wonderful. I don't know why this affected me so deeply when I read about it, because here we are like with Lizzo and body size and embracing all the different kinds of beauty in the world. And you know, we celebrate drag queens and how great that you can put on fake hair and how great that you can put on a beehive. But to feel that you must wear it, to feel that you are net your value. They say some women, a certain percentage, don't even refuse to have chemotherapy to fight their cancer because they're afraid of losing their hair. That's how important a woman's hair is to her. I remember my mom was sick. She went through it, but it was a huge thing. And I love that Ricki has said, hey, you know, Hairsprays, Ricki Lake, the original Tracy Turnblad, has said, you know, fuck it, this is what I look like. Take it.
You know, I think she looks fantastic.
She's beautiful.
It reminds me of when Demi Moore shaved her head
Yes.
off.
So
You know,
funny. She looks like Demi Moore.
She does.
I was-
And how everyone, at the time, everyone was like, just their jaw dropped, and they were like, "This is a new kind of beauty." And she is beautiful. And she wrote that wonderful, eloquent thing on Instagram.
Yes.
And then she went on Good Morning America and
Yes.
talked to Robin Roberts about it. And
Because Robin had cancer and showed
Yes.
her bald head back in the day when she was fighting.
yeah, when my mother had cancer, she was bald, and that's when we started calling her Little Sparrow, because when she would eat, she'd be like, oh. And so, but I think it's fantastic. Of course, we're bald. And I remember when I shaved my head off and the trauma that it was. You sort of sometimes, and I know women do this too, where you put all your power in your hair, and when it's gone, you sort of feel like Samson.
Samson, right?
Yeah.
Samson, they
In the
cut his
Bible.
hair and they got rid of
And
his
he
strength.
lost,
by
lost
cutting
his strength.
hair.
And I sort of felt that way when I shaved my head at 31, I
Yeah.
believe. But I've never looked back, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But at the time, it bothered me terribly.
It was a big thing.
It was
when you realize you're
trauma-
losing your hair.
Have you seen that ad on Instagram that is actually, it's a hat, but it's like a wig, but it's a wig hat. So you can put it
So
on.
you have like you have fluffy hair sticking out of like
yes,
the
out
band.
of a band.
Yeah.
Yes, and I ordered one. I can't wait for it to arrive.
Will you please wear it on the
Could you
show?
get free? Could you
Of course I
get
will.
free? Would you
I will. Well, if it works out, I will.
Yeah.
Or if it doesn't, I'll give it to you.
But it's
All
just that,
different
like,
colors.
Like there's just different ways
Yeah.
to decorate your head or not. You can like
Right.
you know when baby girls don't have hair and they put little bows on them and stuff. I think that's what we have to look forward to.
But
beauty in a new way.
There is
about
something-
hair.
I always loved Andy Warhol's wig. You
Yes.
know, because it was never supposed to look like a normal head of hair. It was this sort of
Right.
fright wig thing.
But she did say that she did not want to wear wigs. She didn't like the feeling
Right.
of wearing
That's
wigs.
her choice.
And yeah, I love that it's we just have new ways of being beautiful now.
It makes your head hot, doesn't it, wearing a wig? It's not
Sure
very
does.
comfortable.
Well, I feel like it's more of a thing with like white women than it is with like because African American women have been shaving their head for a while.
And wearing wigs. There's
Right.
just so many ways to express yourself. Why feel shamed into having to look and be a certain way?
And I guess
Exactly.
Hollywood plays a big role in that too. And you know, I mean, it's
Well, Ricky's post and read more about it on the Wow Report.
Okay.
All right. Number 6, James.
Number 6.
well, I've been watching Titans on the DC network, and I see you rolling your eyes already.
No, I'm not rolling my
No,
eyes.
you did. I just saw you.
bugging mine.
I
I'm
saw you go,
bugging mine.
"Oh." I saw you sigh, and both of I lost you both automatically.
I just signed up for based on your say so. I signed up for DC Universe.
Okay.
And spend the next few days of my life trying
Look,
to find
the Batman,
and
which I've been
Robin.
lying about. I
Well,
know,
that's
but this
all.
isn't a lie. This is. I really want to talk to you about this because there's some gay content here that I really want everyone to know about. Because
Thank God.
No, I'm telling you,
Live action or cartoon?
It's live action,
Okay.
and it stars Brenton Thwaites, who was so wonderful in Maleficent. He was Prince Charming, who kissed her, if you remember. Really handsome gentleman. He plays Robin, or Dick Grayson, who used to be Batman's, sidekick.
Ward.
Right. Yes.
lover.
And it's based on the Teen Titans comic book, in which it's all the sidekicks, and it's Robin and Wonder Girl and Kid Flash and Speedy, and they all sort of band to do a little Junior Justice League. Well, now this is Raven, and it's a couple other superheroes that you probably don't really know of.
Raven?
Yeah, Raven. She's the daughter of a demon, and so she's got these powers. And there's Beast Boy, who can turn into all these beasts and everything. And he's very cute, and they're all very cute, and everyone's really wonderful. But now in the comic books, Batman at this time has gone through a dozen Robins. Okay, because the Robins are always
Just the way you say that.
Larry Kramer was right.
well, no, here we go, because this plays into this, and they're always dying or like becoming disillusioned with Batman or being killed by the Joker, or sort of aging out and moving on or anything like this. And so in this, we have Dick Grayson, who has moved on from Batman, and he's over Batman, and he's tired of Batman, and he's tired of all the murky morality that is involved with Batman. And so he started this other group of people. And at one point in the first season, there's a fight scene, and he's being attacked by all these assassins, and he's about to lose when all of a sudden this new Robin swoops in and saves the day. And afterwards, the two of them are sort of looking each other up and down, and he's like, "Who are you?" And the other one's like, "I'm the new Robin." And he's like, "What? Batman has a new Robin already?" And he's furious and put out. And the other one's like, "Batman needs a Robin, and I am here for the gig, and it is a sweet gig." And the dynamic between the two of them is when the sugar daddy switches out the older twink for the new younger twink. And this kid is like a hustler, and he comes in, and he is like this little sassy little queen, and it just infuriates the new Robin.
Is this the David Geffen story in disguise?
Well, exactly. So there's
kidding,
this
David.
whole little thing
Jeez.
between the two Robins that if you start watching, just watch for the gay subtext between it. There's
right.
also no, we aren't finished yet. Hold on one second. I do want to talk. I forgot to bring down the thing.
Is it still
Your
Titans?
glasses?
Or still on
Do you need
Titans?
do you need your glasses?
No, hold on. So also, wait, hold on.
Oh, James is putting his password now to his phone. Oh, that's not the password. What is it?
So
It's a 2 iPhone, so he can't use his thumb. He's just thinking,
No,
what
hold on.
what
Wait,
might I
no,
be
no.
looking
Hold on,
for?
no.
I
Okay,
can't remember.
so-
Here we go.
yes, here we go. So now in the comic books, Dick Grayson who stops being Robin and he goes on to be a superhero called Nightwing. And Nightwing is famous in the comics for having the hottest ass in superhero-dom. Literally, I am serious.
I just spat.
I can see it. Keep going.
Okay, so wherever he goes, everyone is always commenting on his ass, and all the women are always like, "Oh!" And he sleeps with every supervillain, every superhero, and everywhere he goes, the gay people are always like, "So that's the famous Robin Wing booty." And what you can see, I'm showing you pictures here. He's always turning around, and you always see his ass.
He's a thirst trap.
He's always showing his ass in the comic books. And so for the entire run of Titans, you were waiting for Brenton Thwaites to put on the Nightwing outfit and turn around. And the very last scene of the second season, he puts on the outfit, and you get to see that famous Nightwing ass, and that's the reason to watch 2 seasons of Titans.
Make that booty clap. Does he go?
No, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously.
That's
I
really
mean,
good. No.
I mean, look at that ass. Really look at
Why
it.
this
that
isn't
ass.
number 1? I don't get it.
I think I should just skip my next item.
Number 5.
Oh my God, I regret it already. I started watching Messiah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's really fabulous.
Mehdi Debbie.
Yeah.
Mehdi Debbie
And he's
plays
cute.
Almasi. Yes, cheekbones, long dark hair. I mean, very much a sort of what's the word? Postcard version of Jesus. Jesus as we've always imagined him.
But he's not
you
the
know.
typical blonde Jesus that
He's
we've
not
been fed.
blonde, true, but he's got long dark
yes,
hair and
he's
sultry
typical
eyes.
Middle Eastern
What's
as
his-
Jesus would be.
What's his
Right.
ass look like?
I just seem to remember the sort of muumuus and robes and
Okay.
Cossacky type things.
we
So
haven't
I
reached
don't
the
think
end of
we
season
haven't,
2
we haven't
yet.
got to the ass yet. Although I think not many people reviewed it, but I think some
What is
wholesome
it?
familytheater.org reviewed it and said it's for mature audiences only because it contains foul language and graphic sex scenes.
So does the Bible. Is it a
Yeah, I
movie?
know,
Is it a
right.
Netflix thing? What is
It's
it?
a Netflix miniseries
Okay.
brought to you by executive producer Mark Burnett
Oh, I knew
and
that was
Roma
happening.
Downey. So I went to it thinking,
Ugh.
do I really want to watch this, right? And actually, frankly, having watched 1.5 episodes, I still think, do I want to watch this? It you know,
Is it a modern Jesus, or
Mark
is it,
Burnett
are
and
we
Roma
back
Downey,
in? Are
I
we back
believe,
in?
are complicit in Trump being where he is today
Yes.
because of the tapes of The Celebrity Apprentice that have never been seen the light of day. It's arguable, I guess, at this point, whatever Trump would say, would it make any difference?
Right.
So moving on from that, they are very Christian. I believe they are Trump supporters. They did a very successful miniseries called The Bible, which I never watched. And
What was it
none of
about?
this.
Touched by an
This
angel.
is the Messiah, and it's about the Messiah. And the idea
Wait, does he come back
is-
into modern times, or is this
Okay,
old?
Okay, I'm just going to read to you.
Okay, well.
I'm going to read to you what Messiah is a series, says Mark Burnett and Roma Downey, that will have the audience asking big questions. What if someone showed up in 2019 amid strange occurrences and was thought to be the Messiah? What would society do? How would the media cover him? Would millions simply quit work? Could governments collapse? It's a series that could change everything. Well, that's somewhat overstated.
Wouldn't we just put them in cages and block the media from?
Well, I thought we had a Messiah with Trump. I thought that's what the evangelicals were saying.
I suppose that would be it. But he appears. ISIS is about to take over a town. He appears. He's preaching in the square. Suddenly, a massive sandstorm descends, and ISIS don't take over the town. And then he gathers up his followers and walks to the border of Israel, where he suddenly disappears and then shows up in Texas. I don't know. It's like
that sounds sort of interesting.
Well, the interesting thing is that they're sort of not arguing that he is the Messiah. It's like, is he the con man? Is he the real thing? Is he a fraud?
And what would we do with the Messiah when they came? Would we string them up like the olden days?
Yeah, I mean, this has got great production values and what have you, but it just all feels a bit sort of stale and inevitable. And it's like, it doesn't feel, and there's a CIA agent or an FBI agent, I can't remember which, who's trying to figure out if he's the real deal. It's sort of...
Well, maybe in the hands of different people it could have worked, but I think we know what side they're going to land on because they're such,
Right. Well, spoiler alert, Michael Petroni, who is credited as the creator of this show, said, you end up with a mosaic of opinions about this person. The show never tells you who or what he is. That's the only spoiler I need, right? Yeah. We never know. So maybe there'll be a season 2.
What is this face you're making?
I don't know what to say because I don't want to come out as anti-Jesus. But I think that the Jesus and the Jesus story, I think defining God is why there is music and poetry and the best in all of us, because I think it's impossible to say who God is. We don't have the words for it. We can only dance and sing and praise and meditate and tap into something. And I think there's lots of, I was raised Christian and I was told that was the only way, and I have to believe on this earth that all these different places and metaphors and religions.
In a higher power,
I absolutely do. And I think if you can use Jesus' message and its pureness, which is so beautiful, to get you closer to higher power, and by looking away from yourself and helping others, which is a daily struggle. None of us are saints, myself definitely included high on the list. I think that's great, but the tight grasp of the words of the Bible and what Jesus said and what Jesus means is used as a weapon against so many of us.
Yes,
and
not, it's used as an excuse for bloodshed.
Yes,
unlimited bloodshed.
I find the fetishization of Jesus kind of disgusting.
The fetishization.
That is great. I've always wanted. I felt the same way. But I've never heard anyone say it.
But you can love Jesus and you can believe in Jesus, and I think if you follow what Jesus said, you'll live a very blessed,
and you can find him hot.
Well, just recently with the disgusting assassination that we saw in Iraq, the next day you have, is it Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr.? I can't remember.
Doesn't matter.
Does it right? Posing with an automatic weapon with a crusade cross engraved on the handle.
No, it's Hillary Clinton behind.
Hillary Clinton is is behind bars, but if you look a little closer, it's a crusade cross. I just find it just so disgusting.
That's all. So I'm controversial, but I love Jesus and I love Jesus' teaching, but I think people use it to their advantage.
And in fairness to Mark Burnett and Ramadani, I've only watched 1.5 episodes. I really can't tell where it's going or what it's saying, and I don't know if I'll actually get there. So there we go.
There you go.
All right, we're going to take a break. Let's have a question, Blake.
All right. Who is the star who holds the record for the most Golden Globes?
Oh, going back to Tom's.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Tom again. Mm.
And I know who you're thinking, but who is tied with her?
So the record is held by 2 people.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And one of them is a woman.
Oh, that's so many clues. I love it.
You're listening to RuPaul on Radio Andy. We'll have the answer or the rest of the answer after the break.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy. I'm Fenton here with Tom and James. James St. James. Yeah, thank you.
That's my name.
Blake.
Don't worry.
Well, I'm doing Christian names here. So
No, we don't.
Okay. And before the break, we had a quick question from Blake.
Who is the star who holds the record for the most Golden Globes?
It's 2 people you said. One's a woman. They're tied. I would think Pia Zadora is one. Joking. She won one. It's fun to say Pia Zadora.
Was it Lonely Lady or Butterfly?
You get to say, I think it was Lonely Lady. I don't know, to be honest with you.
Or
I want to
Santa
say
Claus
like
and the Martians.
It's Elizabeth Taylor, but it's not.
It's Sally Field.
it's Doris Day,
See, I think the woman is Meryl Streep.
Yes.
Meryl Streep,
yeah.
and Jack Nicholson.
Am I right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Tom Hanks.
Meryl Streep and Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand.
2 women.
2 women.
All right, let's carry on counting down the top 10 things that make us go, wow.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Now, the only thing that may be more controversial than my Christian discussion earlier
Look, I like it when you get a little,
All right.
piss and vinegar.
is I don't watch NFL football either. But I was home over the holiday with my brother and sister who live to watch the Patriots. And I love that they're into it. I love people that are into stuff. I like that. So I sat with them. It was the Patriots versus the Miami Dolphins.
Go Dolphins! That's my family.
And the Dolphins beat. Now the Patriots are out. But first of all, I realized a long time ago, because I actually played football in high school before I went to Harvard.
Pee Wee.
Did you?
And I was offensive center because I was about this height in 8th grade. I weighed much less. So I was like a big 8th grader, and they needed me for the football team, for the freshman football team. But I was, anyway. So, but I know the equipment, I know the plays, I know the whole stuff. And so, I used to be into it. Now, on the plane, I read all about how concussions
It's a big deal.
don't happen when you even hit your head hard. They're showing like wimpy jostling of your brain causes concussion. So, and that causes Alzheimer's and all that kind of stuff. So, hello. And then, but what I really noticed jostling around on the big screen, high def TV were people's packages, men's packages.
Wieners.
The NFL players, and I've researched this since, don't wear cups anymore.
Well, that's
And it's the reason, if the butt is the reason to watch Titan on DC Universe,
Yeah.
baby, I call it Baby Elephant Walk. Do you know that song?
Well, I know the movie with Elizabeth Taylor.
This little elephant trunks.
What is going on? I've done it.
Why did they stop?
Because they think it cuts into their being quick. Sometimes there's a padded jock they might wear, but they more wear those kind of girdle compression-y things now. I also noticed I was watching
But don't they get like kneed in the groin all the time?
They don't care because they want to be that.
They
hot, I
tuck.
guess. They do not tuck. There was so much good junk happening. I'm sorry, it's disgusting. But I thought, and I mentioned it. My brother goes, "What are you talking about?" And my sister goes, "Yeah, it's true." So my sister and I have an eye for the junk on the screen.
But Tom Brady, tell me about it. What does it look like?
Well, Tom Brady has that little cloth.
Oh, that's right.
That little modesty panel, if you will.
it's like a sumo wrestler.
But there were some others. I don't know their names. I wasn't that fast to study. And then I noticed, side note, is that the Celtics, I watched the game Celtics, and the big thing now, everyone wears like leggings under, which are compression again, but it's just like, it's like ballerinas. They have them on their arms. It's like opera length gloves and tights.
It's very gay.
It's very gay at the NBA.
Finally,
the
there's an in for us all to watch
I might
football.
Because in the early 90s or maybe the late 80s, they went from wearing the short shorts in NBA
they've done it all now
to wearing the really long full circle.
Now they're like leprechauns. They're green and they're anyway.
I always found the shoulder pads rather sexy. In fact, I used to have a pair of shoulder pads.
I have a couple pairs at home.
Yeah.
They've made them smaller.
I have an oversized Chanel jacket that I wear shoulder pads under, and it makes me look like a little girl. It's fabulous.
Well, next time, don't tuck and don't wear a cup.
All right, James.
Wow.
Number 3.
That make you go, wow.
Number 3.
I saw Little Women over the Christmas break, which have any of you seen? Anyone?
This is not the Lifetime series about.
No, this is
little
not the June Allison
Oh, I
version.
love that show.
This is not the Katharine Hepburn version.
I've seen those.
I have seen, yes. This is the new version.
Greta
Gerwig.
Yes.
Starring Saoirse Ronan. Timothy Chalamet.
Emma
Watson. Florence Pugh.
Meryl Streep.
Laura Dern. It's an all-star cast. It is... Okay, I'm of two minds about this, and I'm going to go off in a minute. But first of all, I want to say that it's fantastic, and I loved every minute of it. And Timothy Chalamet is a star of the highest degree. He steals every scene. Every time he's on the camera, the air shimmers around him. He's just absolutely fantastic. Florence Pugh is Oscar-worthy as Amy. And if you know the story, Amy usually doesn't get a lot of... She's sort of like a hateful character in the book and everything. Blah, 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 blah. So, having said all of that, I am irritated as fuck with this Greta Gerwig. Everyone's saying that she is the savior of American cinema. I think that she does this weird thing where she chops the story up and shuffles it around and does this non-linear storytelling where we start in the very middle of the book and then we work our way up to the middle and then we go back and forth and everything like that. And it does a disservice to the storytelling. It makes me think that Greta thinks that she's a better storyteller than Louisa May Alcott. This book and movie has stood the test of time for 160 years, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, Greta Gerwig comes along, and she's going to try and, first of all, she Gilmore Girls it all up. She writes all this new dialogue, and everyone talks all over each other, and everyone, blah, blah. It's very like 2000.
But James, it's like Shakespeare. They do Shakespeare, and they have to reinvent it.
No,
they have to
I'll tell you something. If you do like Emma, and you decide to put Emma, you remake Emma, you make it into Clueless, and you put it in modern times. You don't need to go back. The 1860s had
put on all those hoop skirts and
you have
bonnets.
These scenes where Greta is writing these new scenes where the character of Jo is negotiating price points for her book, and she's like, I want 5.7 off the net, not the gross. And it's like women would not talk like that in the 1860s. Right. There's no way in hell that she would have the agency.
What about a mashup?
To be an agent.
To deal with an agent the way that she does. There are all these scenes that are like just anachronistic and they don't really work. And go see it. It's amazing. If you know the story, you aren't going to have a problem. But my sister had never read the book or seen any of the movies and was completely lost because everything was shuffled all around.
My lifelong friend, born the same day, Richie Moran, brought his 11-year-old daughter, who's super smart, super sharp, and she said it was confusing. That was her review.
It is, and
she's very bright.
And it's because people have been blowing smoke up Greta's ass since Frances Ha and Lady Bird that now she thinks that she's a better she's a better storyteller than Louisa May Alcott, and I'm just not.
Greta, if you're listening, I know you are, darling.
Yeah.
James St. James invites you to lunch at Musso and Frank to give you the comeuppance you need to hear to improve your filmmaking.
But let me just say that Timothée Chalamet, my God, what a star. Everything he does, since Call Me By Your Name, everything he does just gets a little better. I saw today that he's playing Bob Dylan in a biopic, and he's also in Dune coming up. He's just our
Bob
little
Dylan's
prince.
Getting a glow up.
He's our little prince. I know. Well, then Jezebel was saying like Timothée Chalamet is too good looking to ever play Bob Dylan.
I didn't say that, but I did.
Yeah. Number 2.
Number 2.
Uncut Gems.
You watched it.
I watched it. Have you
seen
it?
The trailer makes me want to run for the hills in the other direction.
And yet everybody says that Adam Sandler has reinvented himself and that he is a contender for the Oscars and that by God that he's likable all of a sudden.
It's an extraordinary performance.
Yeah.
I don't know if likable is the word, but it's an amazing performance. And the film is like one long anxiety attack. You are, from the beginning, your chest tightens with just your.
That's like 1917.
I pay money to have that go away.
1917 is like a walk in the park compared to
really?
Uncut Gems.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you are just.
World War I has nothing on an Adam Sandler performance.
Well, 1917 is one take and it's very kinetic and
it's like the Janet Jackson video.
It is. The entire movie is one take and it's extraordinarily kinetic and tense, etc. But that said, Uncut Gems, which is not one take, is more inducing of pulsing, gives me the jivvies, the heebie-jeebies. And Adam Sandler, now I have to ask you, why does everyone hate? I mean, this is an ignorant question.
Well,
why does everyone hate?
For 30 years, he has done nothing but horrible The Water Boy and just condescending one-note characters that are...
what was the one where he was the ugly sister or something?
Yes. And
he also did The Wedding Singer. I mean, his ilk in the 90s, his genre was kind of like comedies.
For the lowest denominator.
A little bit. Some of them were funny and sweet.
The Chuck and Larry one.
The Chuck and Larry was just disgusting. That was the gay one.
What was the golfing one? Happy
Gilmore.
Yeah.
But then
you
when
did
you
this
think
big deal with Netflix, and you did The Ridiculous Six, which was
horrible,
making fun of Native Americans.
But he kind of fell off he stopped performing.
Well, I just think of him as always, the opera man on Saturday Night Live and all that stuff. And I hated that.
I don't think he ever really did quit performing. I think you just
stopped paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but now he's up there with Leonardo and
it's like Red Buttons or
no, now he's like
when Red Buttons was started to act.
He's the new Christian Bale. He's the new Al Pacino.
Uncut Gems, I can tell you this, is the 4th biggest F-bomb user in cinematic history.
Huh.
The grand total of Fs in the film is 500. It's extraordinary. It's
What's number one?
I do want to know. Too.
number one.
This show.
is SwearNet, the movie. I've never heard of it.
Me either.
And then Fuck.
Love me some swearing.
And then Fuck, a documentary about the word itself. And then number 3 is Martin Scorsese's Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Scorsese-like? I've heard it's like Scorsese on speed, which sounds like a lot.
It is. I mean, it's incredibly handheld, and he plays this sleazy jewel seller in the diamond district of Manhattan, and he's selling diamonds and jewels to basketball stars and pop stars. Kevin Garnett's in it. He plays himself. He's a basketball player. The Weeknd's in it. He plays himself, and he's sort of just always just like 2 steps ahead of this sort of chaos that he creates. But from the moment he finds this uncut opal, he thinks that's his big ticket, his money ticket. He's hugely in debt. Loan sharks are chasing him. The basketball player thinks it has magical properties. He parts with the uncut opal. He's trying to get the opal back. He's like juggling loans and putting bets and mistresses and
Heartburn already. Heartburn.
It really is, but it's pretty good and it's doing really well at the box office.
So you recommend it?
Does he have it?
kind of
We're going to
do.
talk in a few minutes about some Oscar nominations and Oscar hopefuls. Does he have a chance?
I absolutely think so. I absolutely think so. And I think everybody hating Adam Sandler for so long is a brilliant Oscar pre-Oscar campaign.
It was a long-term gamble, but he just committed to it.
Which actually,
hate me for a
spoiler alert,
decade.
is a little bit like the plot of the film itself. It has a very interesting arc.
Well, we do love a redemption story in America.
By the
We do
way,
love-
his movie with Jennifer Aniston, I think the one that was before
Right.
this, was like a funny murder mystery thing. Was like the highest viewed thing I think on Netflix.
And it was-
last week.
and I take it back. Not everything he's done was horrible because I really enjoyed that one. I thought that was fun.
It's actually called
also,
Murder Mystery.
Yeah, and what else? But the interesting thing is, he's got this deal with Netflix, but this is not a Netflix movie. I think I'm right about that. It's A24 who are distributing
Yeah,
it.
I saw that too, and I thought it was a Netflix for some reason
And I
too.
don't know how. Yeah,
I just assume everything comes out on Netflix.
I was like Googling trying to find out why he was so hated. He did say he signed with Netflix because it rhymes with wet chicks. So I think he's a bit douchey.
You know what does come out today on Netflix, is streaming right now, is AJ and the Queen.
I know it.
RuPaul's
Oh my
first
God.
Very exciting.
scripted series.
Yes.
Michael Patrick King. Watch and support 24 of the Drag Race Queens, something like that.
Amazing.
Dude,
Make
Gerwig was
cameo
one of the writers
appearances.
too, right?
Yeah, so it's a lot of the people that we love doing something really special on Netflix. So watch AJ and the Queen.
And if you can't watch that, you can also go to RuPaul's DragCon in London, January 18th and 19th.
One week next
both.
weekend.
You can do both.
They're not mutually
No,
exclusive.
you
are
can
they?
absolutely fill your life with all of that.
Yeah.
It's January.
Oh.
That's how I've always remembered how to spell January.
Right, not that
no,
way.
February. Never mind.
February, but it's January.
April is really a mind fuck.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll reveal the number one thing that makes us go, wow.
Wow.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back to the Wow Report.
Where we count down the top 10 things that make us go,
Wow.
wow. And now we've reached
Number
1.
Number 1.
So we started with the Golden Globes, which is the beginning of award season. It
You are
feels-
wrong about that. The Wowies is the beginning of awards.
That was the stub of the toe.
I'm sorry, you just walked
It's
right
okay.
into that one.
The Wowies, which in December. Oh, so good. And then,
What?
And then
Were you coming for the Wowies? How dare you, sir?
And then that little Golden Globe thing. And then I'll finish with Oscars. And even though the Oscar nominations have not come out,
They'll
They
be out
come
in
out
3
on
days.
Monday.
They'll be on Monday.
Right.
they come out Monday. So we're going to take this time with you driving and us sitting here thinking, what are our predictions? What are our wish lists, I guess, to be Oscar winners, at least Oscar nominates?
Renee, can I just Renee for Judy Garland? I know, like, not everybody thinks she.
I watched it and I fought it and I ended up loving it. And we've talked about this before where she didn't have the voice but she had the mannerisms, and after a while you didn't care about the voice and you ended up just falling for the story. And
I just
loved
remember
it.
being glued to the screen the entire time.
Yeah.
I sort of, my criticalness went away and I just got absorbed by it.
Exactly.
And her performance.
I do want to start with best film. I'm going to read off some of the people
Okay.
who might be possibilities. 1917, The Joker, The Irishman, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, Rocketman, Jojo Rabbit, and The Two Popes. What do you
How
think?
many popes? We got a new pope. We got 2 popes. How many popes?
I think it could be Rocket Man.
Do you?
I know it's weird.
I feel like it came out 10 years ago, and I liked it when I watched it, but I don't. I think
I feel like the
Taron,
fact
is that his name?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
He's
fact
gonna win
that
again. I think.
You-
I think both. We love when the person they're portraying is someone who you can like. They were Judy, they were Elton, or they made them better. We love that.
But I think that it might be an upset like it was at the Golden Globes in 1917 might end up.
I hate to think that 1970. I haven't even seen it. Everything's so super serious. You know me. I finally saw the Joker. I haven't talked about it here. I thought the Joker was awful.
me too.
I thought it was
Me
endless
too.
and pointless, and it was a character study, and it was great acting. But boy, oh boy, what does it say? Mental health is bad. I hope what wins is Hollywood is the Tarantino.
Once Upon a Time.
I really think you should see 1917 because it is an
no.
extraordinary tour de
Yeah.
force.
No, it's true.
To be able
No,
to
no.
make an entire film in one shot.
And, and World War One is something that doesn't get it gets a little short shrift. I mean, everything is always World War II, and it's a fascinating war.
I saw War Horse. I saw Downton.
Anyway, okay, moving along.
I agree. The title isn't very attractive.
Yes.
It goes.
Sounds very
all day,
serious.
but let's move
Okay,
along.
okay.
Okay.
Moving.
Yeah. The director is going to be Taika Waititi, Greta Gerwig, Sam Mendes, Martin Scorsese, Todd Phillips for the Joker, Quentin Tarantino, or Bong Joon-ho.
Quentin or 1977 Mendes, I think.
I think you're right. I think Taika is going to win a ton of Oscars in his life, but I think it's too soon.
Right. Bong Joon-ho.
Foreign film.
But people do love Parasite. I mean, it might just come from behind.
I was in the smoking section Friday night of the Sunset Tower with Bong Joon-ho. Okay.
Were you?
Yeah.
Leading actress, Awkwafina, possibly for the
No,
Farewell.
that's not going to happen. That
Okay,
was a
Scarlett,
gift.
Scarlett Johansson, Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan, Little Women, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, or Renee Zellweger, Judy. I think it goes to Judy.
I think it goes to Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, I think so,
But
too.
I loved a lot of those performances.
Yeah.
Big year for women.
Leading actor is Leo. Adam Driver for Marriage Story, Taron Egerton, Rocketman, Joaquin Phoenix for Joker, Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes, Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, and Tom Hanks for the.
Has Leo
Taron-
still not won?
No, he did. He won for Revenant.
Taron Egerton would be my
I would like Adam
sentimental.
Driver too.
I think Adam Driver did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Stole that movie right, left, and
Yeah.
you buy that?
Yeah.
Okay. Supporting actress J-Lo Hustlers, Laura Dern Marriage Story, Scarlett Johansson Jojo Rabbit, Florence Pugh Little Women, Margot Robbie for Bombshell, or Margot Robbie for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Oh, if maybe Margot will win because she's been in 2 big movies and she's
Yeah.
so good. She's really good in Bombshell. She just dances a lot.
She
Once
could
Upon
split
a
her
Time.
own vote, though.
That's
could- yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
But these aren't the nominations. You're just
No,
assuming that
this
they might
is
be-
what I'm
that's true.
assuming. Yeah. J-Lo, I think, is going to get a nomination, and that will be good
I
enough
want
for
her to win. I would love for her to win that. It was
I think it
fun.
might be Laura Dern, or I would like Florence Pugh because I thought she was really fantastic.
It is Laura Dern's time, everyone.
Yeah, I think so. Supporting actor, Anthony Hopkins, Two Popes, Al Pacino, The Irishman, Joe
No.
Pesci, The Irishman,
No.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
I think it's Brad.
Brad Pitt.
I
Has
hope
he
it's
won
Brad.
before?
He's never won in acting. He's won a producing.
Yep.
Yeah, so
should win.
I think it's nice.
Just
It's
for looking.
his
Plus, he's
time.
good looking.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's really.
yeah. And those are the major categories. So I just wanted to.
All right.
to
Next time
read those.
next time we talk, we can talk about the actual nominations.
yeah.
Okay.
But what Diane Warren song do you think will be nominated for best song?
Is she up for 2? Does she have 2 this year?
I don't know, but she always has one. I'm just saying.
Original score is it's going to be the Hildur Goodwater
For the
from
Joker?
Yeah.
Well, she was actually the first woman to win best composer for a film at the Golden Globes.
What's going to win the animation?
It was Frozen 2 versus
Toy Story.
Toy Story
4.
versus Lion King versus
Spideyverse?
No, that was the year before, but it was the one with the missing link that won a Golden Globe.
All right.
And I think before we go off, we should say rest in power,
Elizabeth Wurtzel,
Allie Willis.
Allie Willis.
Allie Willis.
Yeah.
Who wrote Neutron Dance for the Pointer Sisters, Boogie Wonderland,
September.
The Friends theme song.
Friends theme song.
And legend has it that every time Friends plays, she got something like $100,000 or something.
I'd like to think that's true.
That would be
she was a hoot and a friend and
just a wonderful
of just
woman.
the town. Anybody like I didn't spend a lot of time with her, but she embodied and curated what we love, the kitsch and pop culture, and she celebrated
Very much
it.
part of that Elvira Pee Wee Herman set, and her house was very famous
Yep.
for its parties.
Very
and-
generous,
very
bringing
tragic.
people into
Yeah.
it. And
But then if you're going to go, great to just exit quickly.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just poof.
yeah.
And I did want to say that this week too, we also lost Elizabeth Wurtzel from Prozac Nation. She was a very
I know, only
yeah,
52.
only 52 years old, breast cancer, and she was a very controversial but a very seminal figure. She was sort of started that whole genre of confessional memoirs.
Oh, right,
that-
yeah.
in the 90s.
Yeah.
Really interesting woman.
All right.
Well, thanks for tuning into the WoW Report on Radio Andy Sirius XM. Listen to previous episodes on our YouTube channel, WoW Presents. And God willing, or our higher power willing, or the Messiah, what have you, we'll see you the same time, same place next week. Until then, go out and do something that makes the world go wow.
Wait, can I tell you my? This is for the YouTube people. Can I tell you my Elizabeth Wurtzel story?
Yeah.
Not to make
Yes.
her death about me, but
Do you have a picture of you two posing?
Listen, I was working at Book Soup, and someone came up with a big stack of Elizabeth Wurtzel books, and I said, "Oh, Elizabeth Wurtzel! Oh, God, she's horrible! My Alice can't write. She's just the worst. Can I please let's put these back, and I'll show you some other people to get that are much better than her. I mean, literally the worst person on the planet." And she looked at me and she said, "I'm Elizabeth Wurtzel."
Did she smile?
No, she did not. She was not happy at all. And her agent was furious. And I saw the manager of the bookstore look at me like, "You're doing this again? You're insulting more?"
Who did you do it to?
Apparently I had a tendency to just insult everyone that walked in the store. And they were all famous and they all hated me.
Well, didn't Faye Dunaway famously throw a stapler at
They
your
definitely
head?
threw a stapler at me because I mispronounced the name of a Spanish poet that she was looking for. And she said, "His name is Neruda, you idiot!" And she picked up a stapler and threw it at my head and hit me. And I literally was bleeding. And she was berating me, calling me an idiot.
But you know how with age and wisdom some people change, James? You haven't changed at all.
Not one bit.
You offend someone every single
Every
day.
time I open my mouth.
Do you read books anymore, though?
I do. In fact, I'm reading a really great book called The Cartiers about the Cartier family and their journey from the French Revolution into modern day and how they've changed the jewelry game forever, and it's fascinating. But I do have, I have my iPad, but for some reason I can't download anything onto my Kindle from Amazon, and it's driving me bananas, and I need somebody to look at it. And
Kat Marnell has a new Audible original right now.
I do love Kat Marnell.
Love.
Yeah. How to Murder Your Life.
I spend too much time pulling out quotes from the political posts I put on Facebook and then finding the proper emoji to bullet each of the statements
That's
with.
punctuation today. The proper emoji.
It's
not
true.
about whether you use a comma
But I
or
feel
an
the need to back it up.
apostrophe.
And by the way, my new thing is, and I've always tried to do this, but it's so easy just to be angry, to name call, to say they're pigs, whatever, because they can do the same thing back to us. I'm trying to make it fact-based. And I have to say, as time unfolds, not that we're winning or losing, but it's easy to be fact-based and speak the truth because it's so twisted right now.
It is. But it's only getting more and more twisted. I mean, I think that's what's so interesting about Larry Kramer is that he sort of was also sort of not the founder, but he was one of the first angry people. And
Yeah.
he's remained angry. I think in many respects, probably his anger has actually kept him alive because,
Yeah.
for want of a better
It gives him a reason
way
for
of
it to
putting
go,
it,
yeah.
he should have been, he's had so many near misses and been in critical care so much, and yet something keeps
He's
him.
with us in
he's with us.
2020.
And I'm just, it is amazing that he's written this almost 2,000 page. James, I really think you should.
Oh, I will. I'll check it out.
Thank God people are all different. I have to remind myself of that because there are people that I don't like that are different. But thank God there are people who are angry, who aren't pretty about it, who march, who I've become one of those people a little bit, but I'm still more of a fit into the system thing. I love people that take those risks because I don't think change would happen or that notice would
Well,
be paid.
it's like Out Week magazine and Michelangelo Signorelli and Gabriel, people we know, and then Larry Kramer. Where would the age, where would that movement have been? Would things have progressed the way they do, and would we be in an area?
But Jane Fonda now getting arrested every Friday.
I love it. I
love it. And then my brother kind of says who's very liberal, but he's like, I don't know what good that does. And I'm like, I think you have to keep things top of mind. You have to push them up into the feed
because
of life.
She could just retire and just be sitting.
She moved there. She moved there to DC to be arrested every Friday. She made the conscious effort. It's not like, it's like she's not living in LA. She's living in DC to do this.
I think Andy Warhol said, people say time changes things, but they're wrong. People change things. You have to change them yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably didn't say it. Someone else said it. I know he said it at one point.
I like it.
But
There's new Andy Warhol T-shirts on Uniqlo.
Oh.
Ooh.
I've got to go.
Me too.
Let's go right
This is
now.
over.